This week at Bungie brings us news of some major reward structure changes on the horizon for Destiny 2. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're going to take the time to go over all of it here in this video. What's going on, Guardians? My name is The Black Link, and it is yet another Thursday, meaning it's time for another issue of the Bungie Weekly Blog, This Week at Bungie, for the week of May 7th, 2020. And like I said, this is going to be one for the record books. Because this week, we're hearing from Luke Smith himself on the way rewards in Destiny are working. A lot of people have been complaining about that. And of course, over the past couple of weeks, we've had a lot of great TWABs coming out, addressing a lot of the quality of life complaints that Guardians have. And this week might just be the biggest one of all. There's some seriously incredible stuff in here, and without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive on into what Luke Smith had to say. Alright. Hey everyone. This week's update is going to look at some of the changes coming to Destiny 2's rewards. As you know, rewards for your character come from a variety of places. Playlists where you find random folks to play with, aspirational activities like raids, trials, and dungeons where you form up a fire team, and even Eververse, where you sling some silver or bright dust back at us for the items you want. However, in today's Destiny 2, the balance of the game's rewards is not where we want it to be. To be blunt, there isn't enough pursuit out in the world. We're going to fix it. Let's get to it. All of this and more is planned for Destiny 2 Year 4. Again, kind of confirming, they go on to confirm it again later on in the TWAB. We are getting another major expansion later this year. Well, I do believe it's going to be later this year, probably sometime around September. Anyways, moving into the first section. Vanity and accessories. This is ships, ghosts, and sparrows. These are the changes coming to that. We will be adding a Transmogrification feature to Destiny 2. Finally! This will allow players to turn their armor into universal ornaments. We plan to allow players to do this with in-game effort or silver. This feature is in early development and is expected sometime during Year 4. After that, each season we will deliver an aspirational pursuit for armor. We haven't done this consistently in Destiny 2. This armor will come from activities, not from the Season Pass nor Eververse. As an example, we removed the Eververse armor from Season 11 and itemized it into an aspirational activity, because this is the right thing to do for the game. Now right there, I want to stop and say, fantastic news. A transmog system is something a lot of people have wanted for Destiny 2 for a long time. Shoot, we even talked about this on the podcast last week. At this point, there's really no need to have so many different armor sets in the game. When you basically get a high stat armor set. I just kind of wish I could have the different designs set up as ornaments so I could look the way I want while still having a high stat gear, rather than, going out into the world and getting a copy of that future War Cult chess piece I always talk about, and then have it with crappy stats. Armor, especially armor that was outside of the seasonal mod track, was really kind of worthless in the game. And so a lot of people really wanted a transmog system so that you could look the way you wanted while still having the armor build that you want to have. Super happy to see that we're going to be moving more towards this, probably sometime in the beginning of Year 4. Additionally, really happy about the seasonal armor being a part of aspirational activities. We've talked a bunch about this. There's so many times when Eververse will get a brand new armor set, like last season in the Season of the Dawn, we had that awesome Vex-themed armor set. Or rather, I suppose I should say it was like Saint 14 and kind of Vexy themed. And it wasn't something that you earned through playing a specific game mode. You got it from like the season track and the Eververse store. And that always felt a little bit weird. Tie these new armor sets into in-game game modes, those weekly pursuits that we want to jump into every time Tuesday rolls around. Really happy to hear about this, and it goes on. We are improving the rewards for aspirational activities. Again, raids, trials, and dungeons. Going forward, aspirational activities will reward players with power, items, and vanity. When we build an aspirational activity, it will have at least one accessory to pursue. The team is currently working on adept weapons for Trials of Osiris, and Trials will get new armor, aka not reprisal armor, not Destiny 1 armor, accessories and weapons in Season 13. Trials will get new armor every year. I'm perfectly fine with that. Destiny's next raid will also have brand new armor, weapons, and exotic accessories to pursue. No spoilers there, though. And again, I'm really happy to hear about this. I do like that they talked a bit about the Trials armor there. While I was fine with the D1 Trials set coming back as the inaugural Trials armor here in D2, I did want to see something new in future seasons. So I'm happy that they're confirming it's going to be new Trials armor next season. But notice, they only reference Trials armor as not being reprisals for following seasons. So don't be too surprised if maybe in Season 11, Season 12, and whatever's going to come after that, we do have some more classic Trials weapons from D1 pop up, like maybe a Doctrine of Passing or something like that. Anyways, moving on. Beginning in Season 12, we will no longer be selling ships, ghost shells, sparrows, or armor ornaments in Eververse that are visually based on themes from aspirational activities. But we are not planning on changing existing items, as that is time we could be spending on itemizing the future. And somewhere, somehow, Nim Plays just let out a cheer. This is something he has been championing for quite some time. It doesn't make sense oftentimes when we have these awesome new rewards that are themed to a season. You know, Vex stuff for the Season of the Undying, Mars theme, Saint 14 theme stuff for Season of the Dawn. And it's all Eververse. My problem was never that Eververse was a thing. I thought Eververse was fine. It's all visual. It's glamour stuff in a glamour store. I have no problem with that. But when all the new stuff, especially the new stuff that's themed towards the seasons of content that we're getting in the game, is going to Eververse rather than in-game activities, no real armor set for Sundial, and of course, no real glamour items like ships and sparrows and all that kind of stuff that you can earn by playing the activities that are being introduced in a season, that doesn't feel great. When all of that new stuff is in Eververse and none of it is earnable via gameplay, that's where we have a problem. So I'm really happy to see that Bungie is directly addressing that here. Good stuff. And of course, as a quick little note, they're not saying that they're not going to be making any more ships, ghost shells, sparrows, and armor ornaments for Eververse. They're just saying that the ones that are based on themes from aspirational activities, so based on the new content that's going to be dropping in future seasons. That kind of stuff is going to be earnable in that content rather than purchasable in the Eververse store. Perfectly fine with that change. Next up, we've got some core playlist reward changes for Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. We are adding a new set of armor for the core playlist. Finally! That good lord, have we needed some new Strike and Crucible armor for a long time. This armor shares a set of new geometry with decals and shaders specific to the activity. We will create new sets like this each year. For example, for Year 4, Year 5, Year 6, and etc. And this set will arrive alongside the next expansion. Again, very happy to hear about these sorts of changes moving forward. And I saw a lot of people latching on to that Year 4, Year 5, Year 6 thing. I don't think Bungie's necessarily saying that we're going to be playing Destiny 2 for 6 full years of content. I think they were just using that as an example there. Saw a lot of people talking about that both on Twitter and on the Destiny the Game subreddit. And I just don't want people to latch on to something that might not be true. I don't know if we're going to be getting another 3 years of content from Destiny 2, especially with the next-gen consoles on the way. Anyways, moving on. Starting in Season 12, we are adding a new pursuit weapon each season. Thank you. Your feedback has been heard, people. This is what happens. You gotta keep talking to them. This weapon can be earned by playing your preferred core playlist. This weapon will have activity-specific legendary skins that can be unlocked in each playlist. Fantastic change. So here's what's happening here. We all remember the old Pinnacle weapon days where you had a Crucible Pinnacle weapon, a Gambit Pinnacle weapon, and a Vanguard Pinnacle weapon. Obviously, Bungie doesn't want to move in that direction anymore. Instead, you're going to have a new seasonal pursuit weapon that can be earned by playing any of the core activities that you like. If you're a Gambit guy, you can play Gambit and get this thing. If you're a PvP guy, you're one of those hunters out there that can't be bothered to turn in medals for the Guardian games, but you know you love you some 6-shot golden gun. You can go play Crucible and still get this seasonal weapon. Fantastic. And I love that there's going to be legendary skins, legendary ornaments that you can earn by playing those other core activities. Not purchasable in Eververse. Fantastic work, Bungie. Cannot wait to see what that's going to be. We will no longer be selling new legendary weapon ornaments in Eververse. Great changes all around. Really happy and really proud of them for, I guess, listening to community feedback and making some of the big changes here. Can't wait to see this stuff implemented. Next up, we've got some changes to Bright Dust and Engrams. We are making it easier for you to earn Bright Dust. We will be moving away from character-specific ways to earn Bright Dust and more towards account-specific paths. This change is geared towards giving one-character players significantly more Bright Dust than they earn today. Good, that was a huge problem. We're updating the Bright Engram to be more relevant than it is today as well. The earned Bright Engram in the Season Pass will be updated to include various Year 3 Eververse items previously sold for Bright Dust and Silver. And going forward, that Bright Engram will update each season to include Eververse items from 3+ seasons prior. Basically meaning Bright Engrams are going to be more worth your time moving forward. On behalf of all of us at Bungie, we hope you and yours are safe and well. We know you could be doing anything with your free time, and so many of you are spending it in our worlds. Thanks, and stay safe. See you soon, Luke Smith. There we go. Those are some of the major changes that are going to be coming in future seasons when it comes to rewards, pursuits, those things that you log on every day to push towards. And I gotta say, I love basically everything that they talked about in that section this week. This is what we needed to hear from Luke Smith, and I know a lot of you guys out there are probably pretty happy with these changes. Make sure you sound off. But that's not the only things we have to talk about this week. Guardian Games is of course coming to a close next week. It pretty much looks like Titans won, so a round of applause for all of you punchy Titans out there. You did a bang up job of taking this thing from day 2 and not looking back. Additionally, the Guardian's Heart charity event for Bungie is going to be experiencing its final week next week as well. Bungie hit their goal of $700,000, and they're going to be trying to end things strong in the coming week. Of course, there's going to be another emblem for you to earn, and we've got a bunch of Bungie bounties going from May 8th till May 11th. You want to get the full schedule for all of that? I have a link to the TWAB where you can read all of it down in the description box below. Alright, and finally, we have got the last Iron Banner of the season. Can you believe it? We're already here. Lord Saladin will be returning to the tower once again, and as this is the final Iron Banner of the season, this is going to serve as the last call for a few rewards, including the Iron Remembrance armor set, the Cast Iron emblem, the Iron Precious shader, and of course the Point of the Stag Pursuit bow. If you haven't finished up the quest for all of that, this is going to be your last chance this season to get it done. Bungie goes on to note that this weapon will not be available during Season 11, so get in there and complete the quest while you can. Both the Iron Banner and a Valor bonus will be live next week starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, May 12th and running through 10 a.m. on May 19th. Make sure you get out there and get that stuff done. But alright Guardians, that is pretty much it for the biggest bits of news contained in this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly Blog, This Week at Bungie. Really exciting stuff on the horizon when it comes to reward structure. I'm loving the idea of Transmog in Destiny. Very happy it's finally going to be making its way into the game, although Dylan did take to the comments and I think on Twitter to clarify that they're basically just getting started with the Transmog entire process. So don't expect that to be done before the expansion later this year, if indeed it is coming out later this year. But the rest of this stuff I'm really happy to see, especially when it comes to the Eververse stuff. And again, that seasonal gear being tied to the aspirational pursuits, the stuff like raids and trials and nightfalls, rather than being tied to just the Eververse store. Very happy about that. I know you guys have a lot of thoughts on it. Make sure you let me know what you think of all of this news down in the comment section below. That's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But I'm out for now. As always, I am the Black Link. Guardians, stay frosty.